Hi, welcome to the Sniper Club Library series. Today I want to look at a video that's all about growth potential. As lead researcher here at the Sniper Club, people often reach out to me and they're looking for that project that can do 10x, 20x, 50x, or perhaps they're searching for that elusive 100x. And so today we want to look at a project evaluation worksheet or some criteria for identifying projects that are poised for maximum growth. One of the things we learned in this cycle is simply to give the people what they want. Memes showed us this, and some people just did not get it. We often hear people refer to retail as dumb money, but it sure does look like dumb money became really smart real quick. It seems like in this cycle, many decided to skip the traditional money flows, from Bitcoin to ETH to the mid caps to the low caps, and money seemed to flow directly into memes. One of the first areas that I look at when I'm evaluating a project is right here. Are they telling a compelling story and vision of the future? And I call this the MEGAMIND Principle. Now, I'm coining this expression. I don't know if anyone has used it before, but I love that movie. How many of y'all have watched MEGAMIND? If you've never watched this movie before, I apologize. This is spoiler alert, right? But in MEGAMIND, the villain, right? The villain comes and he kidnaps MEGAMIND's girlfriend, right? And MEGAMIND makes an appearance and he says, "You dare challenge MEGAMIND?" And the villain says, "This tongue is not big enough for two supervillains." And MEGAMIND responds and says, "Oh, you're a villain, all right, but just not a supervillain." And the guy responds by saying, "Oh yeah, what's the difference? What's the difference between a villain and a supervillain?" And MEGAMIND responds, "Presentation." And that's sometimes the difference between an ordinary project and a project that's going to be highly successful. A lot of it, because we're in a speculative industry, is all about presentations. What's the story they're telling? Is it a compelling story? Is it a vision of the future that can captivate audiences? And so a simple thing like the website and the social media content, that's one of the major things I look at when I'm evaluating a project. Did they truly capture my attention? Did I find myself being brought into their story and the vision they have for the future? The next thing I'm going to look at is the social sentiment. I'm going to examine Twitter, Discord, Telegram, Instagram, TikTok. Is there real engagement from a community that's growing, or it's fake engagement where the project is really just purchasing engagement using bots and things like that? You know, as a tech guy, traveling all around the world teaching, making difficult concepts easy to grasp, I can look at things like the OSI model or cryptography in Bitcoin, and I can do videos on Bitcoin using elliptic curve technology, cryptography, or maybe the SHA algorithm, the secure hashing algorithm, 256, SHA-256, right? And talk about private keys and public keys. But who cares about that? Who wants to watch a video about that? You know, it's like if you go into a restaurant. No one cares about the technology behind the scenes in a restaurant. Sure, there might be great tech behind those Western-style doors that waiters seem to disappear behind, but no one cares what's going on behind the scenes. If you're using a 6-burner stove, no one cares about the technology. And we got to remember that we are selling our tokens. Someone's got to buy our tokens. We're going to sell our tokens to the masses. And so when you invested in cryptography, when you invested in crypto, not cryptography, right? When you invested in tokens, you got to think like the masses. You know, one of the things people say is that the higher your IQ, the less successful you are with memes. But sometimes that applies to much of the crypto world. We got to view things from the perspective of the masses. So the masses, when they go to a restaurant, they only want to see the menu and they want to know the food tastes great. Think about the last time you went to a restaurant, right? There was a narrative. Let's use that. Let's call this the restaurant principle. We're already coining principles today, the MEGAMIND principle, Let's do another one, the restaurant investment principle, right? So one, the first thing you think about is, are we going to go to a Mexican restaurant, a seafood restaurant, or fast food restaurant? Memes are like a fast food restaurant, right? You know, it tastes great, right? But it might give you indigestion after. So that's all what restaurants about. Why you'll visit a restaurant, why you'll buy food from a restaurant. Did we have a beautiful conversation? Was it a nice environment? Did the food taste great? And that's the things you want to look for when you're identifying tokens that have growth potential. It's going to be things like, are they telling a compelling story and a vision of the future? Social sentiment. You know, how are they sharing this story? And are people engaging with the story on their social feeds? Influencers. Are there people that can really get that message out? That's a beautiful thing about influencers. Sometimes people do not like influencers, but I see them as a major part of the ecosystem. They help get the story out to the masses. And one of the tools, or two of the tools that you can use to track the influencers in a project are tools like Twitter Score and Lunar Crush. The next thing is the narrative. Is it in a top performing narrative? Sure, there might be a great restaurant that's serving some specialty food that only 50 people in the world are interested in. You know, I see people eat a lot of insects, right? People eat insects. What do you call that? I don't know. You know what it's like? I just feel for an ant, not an ant. Listen, I feel for a cricket with ketchup. There's nothing like a fried cricket with ketchup. And that might taste great, but it might only be 50 people in the world who are interested in fried crickets. So you want to be in a top performing narrative. And for me, in this cycle, that's AI, real world assets, AI, real world assets, and gaming. Memes too, right? So the next thing is the market cap. Is there room for growth to achieve that 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x? Listen, if the market cap is already 50 billion, I don't think you're going to achieve your 100x. So you want to make sure that the market cap has room for growth. Next, let's look at the tokenomics. What is the vesting period? Are there significant unlocks coming? When will the VC and investor tokens be unlocked? So you want to make sure that they're not token unlocks that can dilute, that can cause dilution in the project. One of the great tools that you can use for that is tokenunlocks.app, or you can even use CryptoRank. But you want to have an idea in a project to make sure that the tokenomics are going to support that growth potential that you're looking for. Next, let's look at some of the events. Are there upcoming events like perhaps mainnet launches or exchange listings that can actually pump that project to Valhalla? And so there you can use a tool called CoinMarketCal to see if there's some significant catalyst behind your project that can really move the price. And perhaps we see things like, although mainnet launches don't seem to be moving the price as much as exchange listings in this cycle. But you want to see what are major projects, conferences, launches, technology launches, exchange listings, what things are going to move the price. And lastly, I take a look at the people behind the project, the backers, the team, the partnerships, because sometimes you're just looking for buzzwords. Like when we think about render, we think about Apple. When we think about Ondo, right? When we think about Ondo, just putting the zero here, the O here, right? When we think about Ondo, we think about BlackRock. When you hear words like Coinbase or Pantera, these become buzzwords in the mind of the investors, the masses. They get excited about a project and they get that level of confidence. And some of the tools you can use to track investor involvement in projects is cryptofundraising.info and cryptorank.io. In fact, recently I did a video. You can go and check it on our library. I did a video about 20 plus tools that every investor should be familiar with. Hey, you can take a look at that video. It's a very useful video that you're going to be able to really use to analyze some of the projects that you love and go deeper into them. Do a deep dive on some of the projects. So, people, this is a project evaluation worksheet where we can use we can use to evaluate projects that we think can achieve maximum growth. I really hope in this cycle you have the beautiful experience of finding one project that can do 100x. There's nothing like waking up and realizing, wow, I got into a 100x project. Hey, so from the Sniper Club, we're wishing you success in your crypto journey. Perhaps you've never thought about joining a community that you can hang out with, that you can vibe with, a community that you can grow with. There's so much that's being offered at the Sniper Club, from leverage trading to spot trading, spot investing to memes. Listen, the Sniper Club is filled with an awesome team like Sheldon and Dylan and Simon and Bruce and David. When you come into the Sniper Club, it's an amazing community, an amazing family, and we all focus on achieving success and building relationships as we journey in the crypto space. Hey, you've been watching the Sniper Club Library Series.